So how do we judge a life, really? Is it about the peaks, the successes, or is it defined more by the struggles, the failures?
That's a heavy question, and it ties right into another one.
Huh?
Are we just destined to repeat our parents' lives?
Yeah.
Does that shadow always follow?
Exactly. Today, we're kind of digging into those ideas, looking at societal values, family ties, especially fathers and sons, all through some really rich stories.
It's a fascinating cultural context.
And just before we jump in, if you find yourself thinking more about these kinds of themes, you might want to check out the Mindful Moments YouTube channel. They do AI-powered book analyses that can really spark some deeper reflection. Could be a good companion to this discussion.
Good suggestion. So starting with the source material, you immediately see this stark contrast set up between Unoka and his son, Okonkwo.
Right, Unoka. He sounds like someone who, enjoyed life, palm wine, music, especially his flute. He loved the harvest season.
Yeah, he definitely embraced those simple pleasures. But the narrative doesn't shy away from his downsides. Lazy, improvident, deeply in debt. He ends up dying, this sort of shameful death, not even buried properly.
It paints him as maybe flawed, but human. Someone who loved music and kites and just the feel of the season.
Precisely. And then, bam, you have Okonkwo. He seems almost defined by his rejection of Unoka.
Oh, completely. The shame is practically a character in itself. It fuels everything. His wrestling fame when he was young, his drive for wealth, the yams, the titles, the wives.
He was desperate to be the opposite of his father. It says a lot about the society, doesn't it? That achievement, what you did, mattered more than who your father was.
Yeah, absolutely. Your worth was based on your own hands, your own effort. Okonkwo is the poster child for that. He literally wrestled his way up.
And this ties into their spiritual beliefs, too, this idea of chi.
Ah, the personal God concept. How does that fit in?
Well, there's that proverb. If a man says yes emphatically, his chi says yes also. It suggests individual will has this spiritual backing almost. Okonkwo's success is seen as him having a very strong yes, and it's chi agreeing.
So it's not just ambition, it's like aligning your will with your innate potential or destiny.
Something like that. It's a powerful motivator. But it wasn't all about individual striving. The community values were incredibly strong, too.
You see that in the rituals, right? Like sharing the cola nut?
Exactly. It's not just a snack. It's a symbol. Welcome, respect, connection. It opens the conversation.
And the proverbs, they called them the palm oil with which words are eaten. Such a great image. It shows how much they valued wisdom, eloquence, finding the right way to say things.
It's a culture rich in oral tradition. And there's this interesting dynamic. Huge respect for elders, naturally, but also this idea that achievement could elevate anyone.
If a child washed his hands, he could eat with kings. That proverb really stuck with me. It suggests social mobility based on merit.
It does. But there were also strict rules, strong traditions you couldn't break. The week of peace, for instance.
Ah, yes. Okonkwo messes that up, doesn't he?
He does. He gets angry and breaks the peace. And the reaction shows how serious that was, an offense against the earth goddess, something that could bring disaster on everyone, not just him. Harmony was crucial.
You also get a sense of the sheer hard work involved in their way of life, especially with yam farming.
No, definitely. Yams are the king of crops. It wasn't just agriculture. It was a measure of a man demanding incredible effort and skill. A whole year's cycle revolved around it.
And we see the family structure, too, like with Anasi, the first wife, and how the household operates.
But amidst all the rules and struggles, there are these really positive stories, examples of strong character and community bonds.
Like Achebe, the man who helps Okonkwo get started.
Exactly. Achebe represents that mentorship aspect. He sees Okonkwo's drive, even though he kind of grumbles about the youth being soft these days. He takes a chance on him.
He gives him seed yams. Right. A huge act of trust.
A massive act of trust. And he shares that proverb about the Eniki bird learning to fly differently when hunters learn to shoot without missing. Adaptability, foresight, it's powerful.
It shows a belief in potential, doesn't it? Then there's Ikemefuna. His story is tragic, but his time in Okonkwo's household.
It has a real impact, especially on Nwoye, Okonkwo's son. Ikemefuna becomes like an older brother, bringing out a more masculine side in Nwoye, fostering companionship.
Filling a gap, perhaps, that Okonkwo himself couldn't fill.
Quite possibly. It shows how connections can form even in difficult circumstances. And speaking of powerful bonds, Ekwefe's love for Ezinma is just incredible.
Oh, yeah. Her daughter, she seems so fiercely protective.
Totally. She defies Okonkwo's temper, defies social expectations, even follows the priestess into the night to watch over her. That story about her giving Ezinma eggs in secret, against Okonkwo's likely disapproval. It's small, but speaks volumes about her devotion.
It really does. And the community celebrations, like the wrestling matches, they feel so vibrant.
They are. It's communal entertainment, yes, but also a showcase of strength, skill, pride. The excitement around young wrestlers like Maduka, it's palpable. It binds people together.
And what about the Egugu, the masked figures?
Ah, the ancestral spirits. They represent tradition, order, justice. We see them settle that dispute between Uzolu and his wife, Mgbafo.
So they function like a court almost, upholding the clan's laws.
In a way, yes. They embody the authority of the ancestors, maintaining social harmony. Their presence and judgments are taken very seriously.
There's also the oracle, Agbala, and the priestess Kielo. They wield significant spiritual power.
Immense power. People consulted the oracle for guidance on major decisions. Again, you see individual courage alongside that reference, like Ekwefi following Kielo despite her fear.
And through thick and thin, there's Ogirika, Okonkwo's friend.
Such a steadfast figure. When Okonkwo is exiled, Obirika is the one who looks after his yams, sells them, and brings him the money. That's true loyalty.
He seems more thoughtful, maybe, even questioning some traditions.
He does. He has a more reflective perspective. Even seems aware of the changes coming with the white men, though maybe he doesn't grasp the full extent yet. His dark joke about them being green men hints at that uncertainty.
These relationships show the real strengths within the community. But then things start to unravel with the arrival of the missionaries.
Yes. The initial reaction is mostly amusement and skepticism. They don't take the new religion very seriously at first.
But it finds fertile ground with some, like Nueye.
Right. The narrative suggests the hymns, the poetry of Christianity, appeal to something in him. Perhaps it answers the unease he felt about things like the twins being abandoned or Ike Mishuna's death.
It offers a different framework, a different kind of solace.
Exactly. And then the clan makes that fateful decision to give the missionaries land in the evil forest.
Thinking it'll kill them off, right? Bad spirits and all that.
Precisely. But when the missionaries survive and thrive there, it's a shock. It undermines the old beliefs and leads to the first real wave of conversions, like Nika, a woman who had previously borne twins multiple times.
A turning point. And the conflict just escalates from there.
It does. There are clashes over customs, converts become more defiant, and eventually Enoch unmasks an Egugu during a ceremony, a massive desecration.
That seems like the point of no return.
Pretty much. Before that, you had Mr. Brown, the first missionary leader, who was more cautious, trying to understand the Igbo beliefs, even discussing religion respectfully with elders like Akuna.
Akuna seemed genuinely curious about Mr. Brown's God, too. There was potential for dialogue there.
There was. But his successor, Mr. Smith, is completely different. Rigid, confrontational, sees everything in black and white, conflict versus compromise.
So after the unmasking incident, the Egugu retaliate.
They destroy the church built by the converts. It's a direct response to the attack on their tradition.
And that brings in the colonial authorities.
Yes, the district commissioner steps in. He tricks the clan leaders, arrests them, humiliates them, and demands a hefty fine for the church's destruction. It's a clear assertion of colonial power.
This must have been devastating for someone like Okonkwo.
Absolutely shattering. He sees the clan spirit being broken, their traditions trampled. He advocates for war, for resistance.
But not everyone agrees.
No. There's division, hesitation. In that final meeting in the marketplace, when the court messengers arrive to break it up, Okonkwo sees it as the final insult.
And he acts violently.
He kills the head messenger. It's an act of defiance, but also despair. He realizes in that moment that the clan won't fight back, that their world is, well, falling apart.
And his end. It's deeply tragic.
It is. He takes his own life, an act considered an abomination in his culture, meaning his own clansmen can't even bury him. The ultimate isolation.
And the district commissioner arrives and just sees it as material for his book.
Yeah, the pacification of the primitive tribes of the Lower Niger. He thinks Okonkwo's story might warrant a paragraph? Maybe. It's such a stark, dismissive ending, highlighting that clash of perspectives.
Wow. Looking back, you really see the complex web of tradition, the incredible pressure of change, and just the tragic fallout when a rigid worldview meets an unstoppable new force.
It's a powerful exploration of cultural collision.
And remember, for more discussions that get you thinking like this one, you can check out Mindful Moments and our other explorations.
Yeah, definitely do that. And if this resonated with you, please subscribe Maybe share it with someone else you think would be interested. You can usually find a link to purchase the source material if you want to dive even deeper yourself.
Most importantly, just keep thinking critically about these themes.
Absolutely.
And maybe one final thought to leave you with. Whose version of history actually gets told? And what gets left out when one perspective becomes the dominant narrative?